So you became a Christian after you got out?
Oh yes, yeah. A long time after I got out. Boy, well, Gary was about 3 years old, 2 or 3 years, 2.5, 3 years old when I obeyed the gospel. And but I was not interested in Lord or anything to do with religion then. I don't guess you could call me an atheist, but I was probably very agnostic.
Yeah. Oh. Who straightened you out there?
Well, I tell you, on was reference to my becoming a Christian. I had, you know, my step granddad, this old boy that you met this morning, my uncle. His dad was my step granddaddy, and he turned me against the church. He was supposed to have been a member of the body, but he turned me. Well, I accuse him of turning me against the church because what happened. We lived with them a while before we moved with my grandmother and them. Well, we had joined the Baptist church over here at Rice, and so me and 3 of my sisters, I believe it was, had joined the Baptist church. Well, we moved in with them, and of course we wasn't regular, but we'd get up once on occasion on Sunday morning, and we would come up here to Fordyce. They lived out in the country here about 3 miles. We'd come up here and go to church and Sunday school at the First Baptist Church here in Fordyce. And bless his heart, he would never say anything until we started getting ready to go, and then he would start telling us about you don't need to be going up there at that mess. They all going to hell. Ain't no such thing as they ain't but one church and all this. Well, that turned me off. I just couldn't understand. I said, if he had got with us sometime during the week or several times and explained this to us, what he was talking about, I think I would have understood and would have probably have obeyed the gospel sooner. I don't know that, but I believe I would have. But on down a few years later, of course, this was after me and your grandma was married. Well, we'd go to church some, and we would I'd listen to these jokers, and it didn't make much sense to me. Just, they're explaining things didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And we moved from here to Pine Bluff, and so we got up to Pine Bluff, and I started going to a Baptist church up there. Well, I went one Sunday. I remember going to this Baptist church, and so I remembered before we moved up there, though, I had they used to have what they called union meetings. Methodists and the Baptists, they would have what they called a union meeting. They'd have a tent or something set up, and one of them would preach. That's where I joined the Baptists. They had one there at Rice, and the Baptist, he'd preach a while, and the Methodist, well, you decided which one you wanted to be a member of.
Weird.
And so we chose the Baptist church, that we wanted to be a member of. Well, then I went over to my sister's one time. This was after I was married and had children, and so they was having a union meeting there at Kingsland where she lived. So I remember this Baptist and this Methodist, they came to visit with them that Sunday evening. So I started asking them questions, what do you think about this one church business, I've been taught, there's just one church. Well, one of them would look at one look at the other, and you could tell they didn't want to embarrass one another. They wouldn't give you a Bible answer anyway. They couldn't give you a Bible answer, but you could tell there's something going on here that's not up to par. And so when I got to move to Pine Bluff, and we went to church up there, the Baptist church. Well, after services, I talked to the preacher. He was a fairly young preacher, and so I told him after services, I said, I'd like to get with you sometimes and get you to explain this deal with me about this one church. I've been taught to just one. And he said, I don't care about discussing it.
Really?
Well, that really turned me off. That really turned me off. And I thought, now this guy, that's his job to try to teach somebody something.
Yeah.
And he don't care nothing about discussing it. So they had a radio program there. Leonard Tyler, he was a member of the body. He preached on this radio program. So I got to listening to him. And I would get my Bible and follow along with him,
Yeah.
And I thought that guy is making more sense than anybody I've ever heard talk to, So I started going over there. Me and the family started going to 6th Street there in Pine Bluff. And of course I'd go to Bible studies and they'd come over and study with us, So I remember one Sunday I was telling Ruth, I said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna join the church today. Still had that denomination in me, but I said, I'm gonna join the church today. I said, because from what I can understand, that's the church, And so she decided, well, she would also join the church, so to speak, So we did, and so we started worshiping there and studying, and they would study with us, and everything, you'd ask some questions, and they'd get the Bible, and they'd give you a Bible answer for it.
Yeah.
And that was really impressive to me, because these others, you ask them, well, now I think this, or I believe this, or we think this, or we believe this, and a lot of times it didn't make a bit of sense. But